Good afternoon, Toastmasters. Thank you for joining this Toastmasters Journey workshop. We are value-added membership. I am past International Director Russell Drake, and we have 3 speakers that are going to share how they've made the most of their Toastmasters membership. First up, Tiffany Amber Beltran. Tiffany is a powerhouse real estate broker, dynamic entrepreneur, and modern-day Renaissance woman. She's been a Toastmaster since 2022 and leads with passion and purpose in everything she does. Please welcome Tiffany Amber Beltran.
I'm making a change today. Real estate is my life every day. If you're selling your home and moving away, you probably should give me a call today. You know it's true. I turn renters into homeowners, boo. A boss is a role that I've grown into. I love you to death. I'll be your friend and your realtor, too. Thank you, Toastmasters. How many of you guys want to see the full video? Well, you'll have to subscribe to my YouTube channel. As you can see from that video, I love to find creative and fun ways to throw myself out there, but being intentional with it. Toastmasters, thank you for coming today. I hope you leave with at least one of 3 things. I hope after my talk, you either leave with a different perspective on personal branding, an idea or a spark of something, some spark of inspiration that you could bring into your personal life or professional life. And 3, I hope you leave with a new connection, myself. Whether it be about real estate, business, entrepreneurship, spirituality, gardening, there's so many things we can connect on. And I want to connect with people like you, like-minded folks, because I truly believe when 2 or more like-minded people come together, we can create some magic. So I'm excited to tell you about my Toastmasters journey. I started in 2022. And here's a little bit about myself. I'm from a small town, Millville, New Jersey. And then I went to Rider University and got my Bachelor of Arts degree in Public Relations. I started as a business admin major, and then I changed mid-sophomore year because one of my sorority sisters saw something in me that I hadn't seen in myself yet. She thought I would be great at TV and radio production, but I was deathly afraid of public speaking, believe it or not. So the fact that I'm standing here in front of you today is just a dream come true. Well, I wasn't ready for that, but I did the next best thing, public relations. And I really enjoyed that space. I enjoy learning about how people perceive us, how important it is to brand yourself and control the narrative and put yourself in the best light. Now, I started my career 2 years after I graduated college, at the age of 23. And at that age, I realized right away how important it is to make the best first impression. I was 23 years old, and I was trying to convince people to hire me to make one of the biggest financial transactions of their life. It wasn't easy. But I hit the ground running. I made sure that every time I put myself out there, I put myself out in the best light to show myself as a professional so that people can like, know, and trust me and hire me. And as you know, confidence is built over time. So I continued to work on it year after year. I would throw myself in rooms even though I felt inadequate on the inside, even though I felt like everyone else was more experienced than myself. I wanted to continue growing, and my confidence built. But when I joined Toastmasters, it was a game changer for me. It was a new level of confidence. Toastmasters gave me a community that I can lean on and learn from. And just the sheer practice alone helped build my skill set, and with more skills, built my confidence. And with confidence, then you can really speak with power, and people are attracted to that. And also, Toastmasters helped me become a better leader. I'll be honest, leadership was something I kind of tiptoed around. I didn't really want to commit. I didn't want to take on more responsibilities. But as you know, in Toastmasters, if you stay long enough, you're going to be a leader, whether you like it or not. You might just be voluntold to be a leader. And that's what happened to me. I was asked to be the club leader, the club president, and I accepted. And I loved it. And I served as the club president for 2 years, as well as the VP of PR. And then I even accepted a district leadership position as the public relations manager, And I loved it, and it was a great experience. I got to connect with other leaders. I got to have that corporate experience that I didn't have because I've been self-employed. And it helped me rise to the occasion. It helped me learn so many skills. Now, just in 1 year of being a Toastmasters, I felt like a whole new person. I could speak with authority. I was proud of who I am. I practiced. I felt like I had skill now. So much so that I felt led to do something about it. I wanted to give back to the community. I felt confident enough to start my own podcast. So I did, and I called it TIFF Talks. And I launched a 10-episode series of inspiring and impactful conversations. And I'd like to share a couple clips from that series.
Tiffany Beltran, and this is TIFF Talks, where I'll be using my platform to share stories of success, growth, inspiration, healing, and hope. Thank you for joining.
Confident, bro. Like, you can't tell me nothing.
You're plugged up to the source.
Yes, you can't tell me nothing. I know who I am. How many people can say that? You know who I am? Let me ask me.
Who are you?
I am love. I am love.
Perfect.
And now all I want to do is express that to people.
So when I was in that appointment and the doctor said, we'll just skip the breast exam, we'll do the PAP, and we'll get you on your way. But when she left the room, that nurse questioned it.
Wow.
And she looked at me and she said, so you're not doing the breast exam? And my gut had this overwhelming feeling that she was in my life for a reason. Wow. And I said, because you said it, let's do it. And that was the day my lump was found.
Wow.
Belief system is I think that God sends people to you. And it could be someone who's long standing in your life, a relative, or just a stranger with a message just for you. And sometimes you're ready to receive it. And sometimes it's like 5 years later and you're like, I get it now.
No one has the right to decide how big your dreams get to be. And so if that's the case, then stop giving people permission to limit you. They're living out their own limitations, right? Those are their limits, not mine. I'm going to do it.
Thank you, thank you. That was such a wonderful experience. I loved being able to just bring the best out of people, control the conversation, thanks to roles like Table Topics Master. I knew how to ask the right questions. None of that was scripted, and you could see all the episodes on YouTube, so please do check it out. But it was such a wonderful experience, and I'm so happy that I did that, and it was out of the passion in my heart to do so. And I loved all the guests. Each episode brought a different level of inspiration. I got to help people tell their stories and share my platform with them, and it was really, really powerful. Now, I want to share some core truths that I learned from that experience. First, be intentional with your social media posts. Whether you believe it or not, every single time we post on social media, it is a PSA to the community. It is an opportunity for you to tell people who you are and what you believe in. So be intentional about it. Bring value to your community. I suggest when you post, and maybe not every post, but some posts should be inspirational, educational, or entertaining. We have enough negativity out there. Let you be the light to your community. Next, quality over quantity. Although I only recorded 10 episodes, I really focused on high quality. Good audio, good lighting, good camera position, it matters. It doesn't take much. But when you take that extra step, you're more likely to have your content viewed. If you have a message you want to share, you want to do it properly so it gets to the masses. And even though I did just 10 episodes, I chopped up each episode into short, digestible videos that I can continue posting over time, making one episode more like 10 to 20 pieces of content. So you could do the same. I see a lot of great Toastmasters out there posting content, and some of it might be lengthy, and that's a great thing. A lot of people like to view that. But use that and chop it up and post it into short videos with a good message, with something inspirational, a powerful statement. That way your message continues to circulate. Collaboration creates opportunity. Collaboration is one of my favorite words. It is so powerful. And there's so many ways you can collaborate with people. For my podcast, obviously I collaborated with my guests, but like I said, for each of those short videos, I also sent them to my guests to post as they wanted to, on their LinkedIn, on their social media. You can also collaborate with people on your team to help offset some expenses. Barter with people. Hey, after you show that you have some success, if you could show that you have views and people are watching, you can leverage that. Maybe you can get a better price with a videographer if you can show that, hey, I will promote you and people will see your quality and they'll want to hire you. That's what I did. I got an insane deal from my videographer because I also use him for my real estate business. And I've recommended him to so many other companies. I got the best price. So you could do that with anything. Think about that. Think of different ways to harness strategic partnerships. And next, influence equals income. When people know you more, they are more likely to trust you and to hire you. Just seeing your name, seeing your face, being familiar makes people comfortable in hiring you. If you have a sign, being a real estate agent, a billboard, people have heard your name, they want to work with that person. And maybe you're not in business or in sales, but your network equals your net worth, right? So for me, this podcast was such a powerful project for me. Even though none of the episodes I did was about real estate, I still had my real estate sign in the background, indirectly reminding people that, hey, I'm a real estate professional, think of me. And it worked. In 2023, the real estate market historically was terrible for a lot of people. Interest rates were close to 7%, 8%. Coming out of COVID when it was 2%, 3%, everyone was confused. They were scared, they didn't want to buy. And yet, it was one of my most successful years. I thrived. And I truly believe it's because of all the social equity, kindness I put out there, because of the good energy I put out. I truly believe when you put out good energy, you receive that. So my business grew, and I was able to purchase my dream home. The home I had been dreaming about my entire life. I always wanted a duplex with land close to Philly and close to where I'm from. And I got that the first day on the market. And I feel like I achieved the American dream. I rent my upstairs to Airbnb and it pays my mortgage in full. What a blessing that is. That's amazing. So I want to just encourage you guys. Take your social media presence seriously. It is your resume nowadays. We're in the age of attention, and if you're intentional about attention, you can turn your influence into income. So I want to ask you, take a look at your social media presence. What does it say about you? What type of people are you attracting? Are you telling your story? If not, you should. because you're missing out on a lot of opportunities. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time and attention today. I do hope that you connect with me on social media. That's my direct line. Text me. I would love to connect with you. Maybe we could do business together. Maybe we can be on each other's podcasts. Or we could just collaborate. I appreciate it. I love connecting with people like you, and I'm so proud to be a Toastmaster. Thank you again. Back to you, Russell.
Let's see there. Next up, I have the honor of introducing Shane Cohen. Shane serves as the Director of Corporate and Foundation Relations for the P.C. Rawson College of Engineering and Applied Science at Lehigh University. There, he draws on his Toastmasters experience to build industry partnerships and secure funding that enhances outcomes of student learning. A distinguished Toastmaster and 12-year member of Toastmasters International, Shane is a stand-up comedian and improv performer. He has appeared in New York City's Gotham Comedy Club New Talent Showcase, the Good Karma Comedy Festival, and Comedy Platz at Music Fest, the largest free music festival in the United States. Please welcome Shane Cohen.
Thank you, Russell. I am very excited to be here today because my wife, Roxy, and I just celebrated a 20-year anniversary. With AAA roadside services. That's right. I no longer fear any stage or any presentation, thanks to Toastmasters International, and I never fear breaking down along the side of the road on my way to a Toastmasters meeting, thanks to AAA roadside services. Thanks, AAA. Got it? Okay. I need my sponsorship check. No. But in all seriousness, though, Toastmasters did help me overcome a paralyzing fear of public speaking, which I want to share with you today, along with some, I'll say, tips and tricks, things that you can immediately implement, as well as some longer-term strategies that if you stick with them, you will have the life transformation that you're looking for. If you would have told me 12 years ago that I would be doing stand-up, improv, and loving it, I would have bet you any amount of money that that would never, ever happen. And so I thank the Toastmasters program for truly transforming my life. So there are things you should fear in life, like maybe radioactive lemonade. But Toastmasters and public speaking is not one of them. And so again, today what I'm going to help you do is I want you to help leap over those fears and anxieties that you may have through, again, my personal story and personal experiences that I've had with many, many Toastmasters and colleagues and whatnot. So first I want to say that you are in the 6%. This is not cliche, this is true. Just the fact that you are here, you spent your time and money to come here. The most important thing is truly showing up when it comes to improving and becoming more confident. So the best thing you can do is you can attend every single Toastmasters meeting. You can sign up for a role. You can sign up to speak. Just be active and be consistent. And that, over time, will definitely help. I mean, I use Toastmasters when I'm going to practice a presentation at work. If I'm going to do a comedy performance, I'll go in and I'll do a set in front of my club. So I use Toastmasters all the time. And when somebody asks me about the value of Toastmasters, I say, well, imagine how much if you had to pay every single person an hourly rate that is in that room to give you feedback, imagine how much that would cost you. So when you think about the value of Toastmasters membership and the cost, and if somebody says to me, oh, it's too expensive, or if I've heard, I laugh because it is the best return on investment of any program that I've ever been a part of. And I've been a part of a lot of expensive programs. So maybe she's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline. We've seen this commercial. And I bring this up because to talk on the aspect of, are you born with it, or is it something that could be taught, or taught and learned to become a better, more confident speaker, presenter? And the truth is that anyone can become a more confident and more effective speaker and presenter. So maybe she's born with it, maybe it's Toastmasters. And most likely it's Toastmasters. And I'll give you, so again, I mentioned I do improv. I love improv. I've been doing it for 2 years. Improvised Shakespeare, has anyone heard of improvised Shakespeare? Okay, if you have not seen, this is, what they do is they put on an hour-long improvised Shakespeare play. And all they do at the beginning is they take 3 suggestions from the audience, and then they go about and they put together acts. They do it on the accent, the traditional accent, and it is phenomenal. Hands down the best performance I've ever seen in my life. And so after the next day, they offered a workshop. And so, of course, I signed up for the workshop, and I asked them afterward, I was just curious, were there aspects, do they still get anxiety and do they feel fear? Are there any things that still challenge them? And even though they travel the United States, and they're again, very, 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 very good, they all told me, every single one of them, that they still get a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of fear before they get up on the stage and perform. And I'll give you one example. One individual mentioned to me that he has difficulty and still tenses up around providing his full emotion to really get into the character. He said that really still gives him a level of discomfort that he's still trying to work through. You would never know it seeing him, but I say that just to tell you that even at the level they are at, you still can feel that level of anxiety, the butterflies, and it's okay. So my personal story, despite this picture, you may have thought that I was beaming with confidence. But that was that could not be further from the truth. The honest truth, and I share openly, I grew up in my father was verbally abusive, and he would always critique me. Nothing I ever did was right. I would breathe wrong. I would move wrong. And so I for the longest time, I grew up thinking that I had to be absolutely perfect in every single thing I did. And that really held me back, as you can imagine, when it comes to presentation and speaking in public. And then what happened was early in my career, when I first started my full-time job, I was working at a project. We were putting together an event for the Project Management Institute, and because our university was hosting it, I was to introduce the speaker. Well, I had notes on a note card. I got up in front of the podium. I had my notes there. My name is Shane Cohen, and I completely blanked on what I was going to say. I shook the speaker's hand, sat down, and I remembered I never wanted to feel that experience again. And that's when I found Toastmasters. And that's when I'll talk about my first mentor in a little bit, but that's really what started the ball rolling to, again, as was mentioned, I performed in Gotham, the Gotham Comedy Club in New York City in their new talent showcase, and I had a blast, and again, that never would have happened without the program. This is one of my favorite quotes ever, and I think this really summarizes Toastmasters, if nothing else. When the pressure's on, we don't rise to the occasion. We fall to our greatest level of preparation. And this is by Chris Voss. So he's an ex-FBI negotiator, hostage negotiator. And this really summarizes, again, what the program does for you. And I'll give you an example for when I was working at my first institution, for the Dean of Engineering, we have a board meeting for our engineering board twice a year. He put me on the spot right before the meeting, asked if I could do a 10-minute update on our corporate partnerships, our fundraising, without any prior notice. Now, previously, I would have melted down. I would have tried to get out of it. But thanks to Toastmasters, I was able to take a deep breath, think of, okay, how do I want to introduce this? How do I want to draw in this particular audience? What are 3 things that I can touch on that's relevant to our board? And then how do I want to conclude? What kind of quote, call to action, or what's something I can get them to do to help us achieve our goals as an institution? So again, thanks to Toastmasters, I was able to do that. And then I put up Ozempic here. Again, kind of touching on the aspects that a lot of things are you can take and implement right away. And I'll say Ozempic is sort of, a quote, could be a quick fix, right? So if you want to lose weight, you can take Ozempic and you can lose the weight right away. However, if you want longer-term success and sustained success, there are certain habits you have to implement to have that fully sustained success. So again, that's where the program, the Toastmasters, helps. There are certain tips and tricks I'll provide that you take right away and use. They'll provide immediate action and results. But then there are things, if you truly, truly want to transform where you're at and be at the highest level, there's some longer-term things that you can do. It's called public speaking, not perfect speaking. This also took me a long time to get through my head. I use this image. This speech is perfect, Dilp. So the movie's not really relevant necessarily, but he's obsessed with perfection, and so everything has to be perfect. But now I will lean into imperfection. So as an example, in one of my comedy routines, there's a joke that I love, but the audience doesn't love it. But I still use it. Now what I do, though, is I actually lean into it. So now I'll say the joke, I get a groan, and they'll say, it's okay. That joke doesn't always land. Something that I find in the audience, they always laugh, right? It gets a good response. So what I did is I took that imperfection that I know doesn't work, and I leaned into it. Now I get a very, usually loud round of laughter and applause when I do that line. Embrace embarrassment. This is one of the, I'll say, a personal model that I use. So again, when it comes to comedy, improv, I purposely will do things that are extremely uncomfortable, that put me in a very odd position. Like a couple months ago, part of my routine is I perform like a chicken, and a couple things like of that nature. And these things are perhaps, quote, out of the box. But again, I really push myself to embrace embarrassment and lean into it. So like the ice skater shown up here, you fall down ice skating, what do? You say, okay, I'm never going to skate again, right? You don't. You get up and you continue on. If you're baking a cake, if something doesn't go right with the cake, you're going to continue on and push through it, right? So I think that's one of the biggest, in terms of mindset, the things you can do when you're at your Toastmasters meeting. And I'll say my very first meeting, I was very intimidated. One of our members had been a long-term Toastmaster. He presents at prisons. And he came up to me, and he's very much like a Tony Robbins. He said, Shane Cohen, I'm going to change your life. Are you ready? I was not. And after that moment, I thought, oh, geez, I am not ready for Toastmasters. But fortunately, my mentor took me under his wing. He said, oh, it's okay, Shane. He's been doing this a very long time, and you're going to get to that level. I know you're going to be the next Tony Robbins. And he told me that. At the time, I couldn't internalize that and think that I would ever, even let alone get on the stage. I remember watching the district championships, and I remember seeing Aaron Beverly on stage, for example. And I remember seeing Aaron and thinking, wow, that is so amazing. There is no way I would ever even get up on that stage, let alone give a speech. And a speech by memory, forget it. But again, the journey has been so transformative. So going back to find a mentor, my first mentor was Dennis Martz. My original club is Greater Susquehanna Valley in central Pennsylvania. And Dennis, again, took me under his wing, and this is the importance that you as members can truly provide. It's those extra things that you do for members. I mean, I'll never forget Dennis. Before meetings, he'd come up to me and ask me how my week was going. He just really made a personal relationship. After the meeting was over, he'd pull me aside and say, hey, Shane, he'd tell me what he really loved. If I did table topics, if I did a speech, he'd really emphasize the things I did well. And he said, I can't wait to see you at the next meeting. He's like, let's get you signed up for a role. And then sometimes, during the week, literally, he'd ask me if I want to come out to lunch. He might give me a call randomly. I mean, if you want to talk about truly being an exemplar mentor, it was Dennis Martz. And I mean this sincerely. If it wouldn't have been for Dennis, I probably would have dropped out of Toastmasters because I was so intimidated and so scared to even give my first icebreaker. Second mentor, and the Jocelyn's up there, but Shell Taylor. Shell, I don't know if anyone knows Shell. Shell's here, but not. So Shell, after being in my community club, Shell encouraged me to join an advanced club. So Shell is the one who took me into Susquehanna Advanced Toastmasters, and that's really where I was able to accelerate my level of comfort and confidence. And I highly encourage you, if you're in a community club or corporate club, if you're not in an advanced club, I highly encourage you to attend one and to seek one out and to finish the requirements to attend an advanced club, because it's really, that's truly what was able to accelerate my comfort and confidence. And then I was very fortunate. So Dilip happens to be is in Susquehanna Advanced Toastmasters. And how lucky are you when you have a past Toastmasters International president in your club? And Dilip has just been tremendous at providing feedback and support whenever I've needed it. So again, if there's nothing else I can leave you with, it's please find a mentor, find someone you can confide in, who's there to support you and guide you along the journey. So that's it. If you'd like to, you can follow me on any of my social medias. Again, it's under Shane Cohen Comedy. And I'm looking forward to the panel. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. One more big hand for Shane, please. Such brave Toastmasters. Yes. Thank you, Shane. Now I have the honor of introducing our third and final speaker, Dr. Elizabeth Carter, PhD, known as Dr. E. She's a distinguished Toastmaster and a past district director. Dr. E is a dynamic leader, a published author, and passionate advocate for personal growth. Today, she'll share her Toastmasters journey and how it has added extraordinary value to her life and career, and how you can tap into that same power through intentional membership. Please welcome Dr. E.
Good afternoon, Toastmasters. That sounds a little lackluster. I know we're just getting from lunch. Hello, Toastmasters. Thank you, thank you. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Carter. This is my value-added 3D persona Barbie doll. You can find it on Amazon and any retail store. What I want to share with you today are two easy things. One will be about leadership, and the second is what I will call lift. So I'm sitting in the parking lot of this location that has Toastmasters meetings. And I'm in the car thinking, should I go in? Should I go home? Should I go in? Should I go home? And my problem was, those of you who were there Wednesday night for our speaker, my problem was I wasn't quite sure why I was there. My car took me there, got to the parking lot, but I wasn't quite sure why I needed to go inside this building and be involved in this group called Toastmasters. Have you had that feeling? Not quite sure? Yes. But what I did know, three things. And my dissertation study for my PhD was Toastmasters. I knew these three things, and you can help me validate my study. People join for three reasons. One, they want to improve something in their life, their career, they want to transition, maybe be a better leader. How many of you were that when you joined? Okay, thank you. Second is that they just want to get comfortable, get more confident, overcome fear. How many of you were that when you first joined? Okay. And the third is other. How many of you were other? Other. Yes. But the great thing about those very narrow reasons about why we join is that what you get beyond that is phenomenal, tremendous. I talked to several Toastmasters who were just so thankful and grateful that they joined, because they may have joined for just one small reason, but they gained so much more. How many of you had that experience? You came in, I said, thank you, excellent, thank you so much. You've helped validate my continued study for my journey. But here's the thing, we're all great members. But have you ever been tapped? And here's what the tap looks like. Hey, you know what? You just joined 5 minutes ago. Your check hasn't even cleared. We meet in person, you still try to dial in on the Zoom. But in 3 minutes, we're having officer elections, and you'd be a great fill in the blank. So again, who's been tapped? More than once, yes, thank you. But what I call the tap is a trust and push. Someone has come to you to say, I trust that you can take on this role and be successful at it. But I know you need a push, a little nudge, a little acknowledgement, a little thoughts around why you'd be great at it, because sometimes we don't know. And that happened to me twice. I was in the club 2 months. They said, hey, we'd love for you to be Sergeant at Arms. And I admit I was the worst Sergeant at Arms. We met in person. I was always late. And I only worked a mile from the location. I couldn't get there on time. It was horrible. And I'm carrying the flag and the banner, and back then we were meeting in person. I'm carrying a timing device, and I'm dragging stuff into this meeting room, and I'm trying to tiptoe around. The meeting's already happening. Are you the timer? Who's the timer? What's the agenda? And I realized that was not the role for me in leadership. But I stepped into VP of Education and then club president, and I thrived. So I tell you all, if you don't think you're doing a great job right now, pick something else. There are tons of opportunities inside the club for you. And I got tapped a second time for district leadership. Any trio members in the room? Current trio members, past trio members, those who forgot that they were a trio member? Anybody? Okay. Yes. And that was a great opportunity because to think about in leadership, you were guiding people in their leadership development journey. And you're leading volunteers. Those are the best ones because you can't control them, you don't pay them, they don't have to listen to you. That is a challenge, but an accomplishment to say that you've been able to do that. So I always encourage people to consider leadership. You grow well beyond what you would think, same as when you came into the club. You get to meet so many people. I know that people either came to me with a compliment or a complaint. And I embrace them all the same. But often people say, well, how do you really embrace that tap when you're not quite sure, or you don't have time, you don't have the energy, you don't want to do it, I'm leaving town, I'm moving away, my life is changing? Here are 3 questions you can ask yourself. 1 is purpose. What goal do you have to accomplish? We all should have goals. Number 2, what are your strengths? And we often don't know our own strengths. Someone has to let us know based on what they're seeing in us. And that allows us to say, oh, you know what, that makes sense. Maybe I could do this. And we always are thinking about continuous improvement and development. How can you leverage this opportunity to grow in an area that you may not be familiar with or get stronger in an area that you think you will need transitioning back into your job or your family or whatever else you do beyond Toastmasters? So that's how you can embrace that tap of leadership. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be good enough that you know you've done your best and you've helped guide others in their journey, and you see the improvement in them. And that moves me to the second piece, which is the lift. In Toastmasters, I always get this question, well, do you put that on your resume? Do you put it on LinkedIn? How do you utilize that? I don't know. Well, when you think about being inside an organization or trying to get into one, there's 5 skills every company is looking for. And if you look at these, every club meeting we do this, we're thinking about how to get more members and how to get more people on the agenda. So all 5 of these we're utilizing all the time. You can articulate how you've done that in your resume. And how you do that is 3 different ways. And I love this. I call this the map. Map your journey. 1 is metrics. Leaders love numbers. If you can articulate some type of incremental growth, you have increased by X or X percent, they love to be able to talk about that and how you did it. Also, your accomplishments. And we're not great at touting our own accomplishments. It's great being here where we're celebrating each other. Last night was the Hall of Fame. We, cheered for all the different districts and all the accomplishments. We need to do more of that because people want to understand how you are developing yourself and others. And that gets to the process improvement. How many of you have changed something that happens inside your club in the last 5 years? All right, so there you go. Have you notated that in your resume? The next question is, where do I put Toastmasters in my resume? Multiple places. For me, I did my club growth year unemployed. So that was my job. This way I had no gaps in the timeline. But it encompassed most of my days. So it really was a job. So I noted it as such, and all the work I was doing in that space, traveling, getting clubs started, doing demo meetings, working on the retention. So it fit. You can add it into where you have your other nonprofit work or other affiliations, commitment to the community, because we are in certain ways serving the community, providing educational tools to others. And if by chance there's a particular role you're looking at and they have specific requirements, if you can slide in a Toastmaster situation as a notable strength, they'll love to talk to you about that. Because we know not many people besides ourselves know what Toastmasters is, or when you say, I'm a distinguished Toastmaster, people don't know what that is. So we need to articulate to them in their own language what we've done and what it means and what our accomplishments are. And the second piece of that is we can't be modest. Let's tout what we've done. And how we do that is by the use of what I call power words. We gotta make what we do sound strong. Yes, we are club president. Yes, we are the treasurer. Yes, I am the district program quality director. And these are words you can use to describe what you have done. And if you're not good at wordsmithing, we have our best friend, Miss or Mr. AI. You can tell it what you want it to say for you, and it will come back out beautifully. Just make sure it still has the truth in it. It hasn't embellished too much that now if someone asks you about it, you're like, oh, I don't know. But be able to use power and talk strongly about what you've done in the organization, because we garner great skills here. So if you know someone who could benefit from adding value to their membership, let them know these 3 things. There's 2.5 things. Leadership and the tap, trust and push, and the lift with our map, metrics, accomplishments, and process improvements. And I have a bonus. Act. Act on the opportunity. Align with your bigger goals. You saw my other 2 speakers. Maximizing this Toastmasters journey. Create something meaningful. As my intro mentioned, I'm an author now. I am a speaker. My dissertation was on Toastmasters. I was focused in the magazine before we went out on COVID. And tell your story on broader stages. I thank you all. This is my data sources. So I thank you all for your time. If you want to reach out to me, I am on LinkedIn, Elizabeth Carter, CPCU, PhD. I'd love to talk to you more about my journey and help you with yours. Thank you so much. Russell Drake.
Okay, just a little more for Dr. E. It's nice that our speakers have demonstrated how what they've learned in Toastmasters helps them outside of Toastmasters. That's one of the things I've kind of learned over the years. We have some veterans. Anybody in Toastmasters more than 20 years? You know, we get kind of caught up just in Toastmasters, period. We just keep doing the Toastmasters thing. But one of the things I've always told my clubs is that, or my members, is that the idea is to take the skills from the club outside. So Tiffany is branding. We got Shane with creativity. And Dr. E has showed us how we can use this outside of Toastmasters. Now, the tough part, when Diana asked me to moderate, she didn't say anything about me talking about my experience. You know, we only have so much time. But first of all, I want to give a shout. Who are the vice presidents of membership here? Anybody? VPM? Let me tell you something. Vice president of membership, dark horse role. I'm telling you. Here's the thing. They've been trying to get me out of that role for the last 3 years. But what happens is I get to meet everyone first. They send an email, I have my little form letter. Hey, thank you for inquiring and coming to Toastmasters. When they come in, hey, where's Russell? They're asking for me when they come in. It is really a dark horse role. There's only like 4 hands out of 5,000 people here that are the VP of M, but there's an opportunity there. So think about that as your role in your club. If the speakers would join me back up on stage, we're going to give you an opportunity for a few minutes to ask questions of our panel. And we have microphones up front. Oh, there's the microphone. So if by chance you have a question, please just raise your hand and we will rush the microphone over to you and we will go from there. I can't see, so someone else has the lights. Yeah, right there. There you go.
Thank you very much, all of you. My question is for Dr. Carter. I love the slide that you have about the putting words on the resume. I have a specific question about the word club. So I'd like to eliminate that from a lot of these types of things. And I was thinking Toastmasters educational program, but I was wondering if you had any ideas on that.
Well, what I like to use is the word community, because in my study was about the community of practice, and Toastmasters is a community. A community is a group that comes together with a common purpose and common goals and meets frequently, which is what we do. So community makes it all similar. I like the fact that you said club, but a community says that we are joined together, we are kind of locking arms and moving forward together, supporting each other. So that would be my thought around a different word.
Thank you. Who's next?
Thank you so much. My name is Busi, and my question is directed at the lovely Tiffany. Tiffany, you only joined in 2022, and I heard all the things that you managed to do. And I would like to know, what is it that was enticing for you as a new member to really dig in? I am VPE for my club, not VPM, but I'm passionate about getting people to come, stay, and grow, and you've exemplified that. Please tell us how we get other members to do just that. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I would say my club, shout out to Speakeasy in Millville, was such a welcoming and encouraging community. It was so gratifying and positively validating that it felt good to be there. So it was just this beautiful reciprocal energy that we had together. I would show up, I would do my best, and they would receive it and they would love it. And I saw in their faces that they were inspired. And then they would, do the same thing. And it's just this constant energy of that. And I just loved it. I fell in love since I joined, and I just kept coming back. And I also love that it was a community outside of work that I can work on myself and express myself, because being in sales and being in real estate, everything is mindset and working on yourself, but it's all around real estate. This was something totally different that allowed me to tell my story, not just my professional story, and be myself. So I would say, to help your club, just continue being welcoming and encouraging, and also maybe try to reach your members beyond the club setting. Really garner those friendships and try to, just be friends with them and that's it.
Made you run over here. Christian Austin, District 31. This is for Shane. Shane, you mentioned embracing imperfection. How do you relay that message to members in your clubs? A lot of times they don't want to give speeches because they're not ready or they're not ready to take roles. How do you let them know that that's a positive thing to embrace that imperfection?
Thank you. I give many personal examples. Honestly, I usually, if there's a new member, I try to, I'll go up to them, introduce myself. I give a similar story, why I joined Toastmasters that I gave you here. And then I'll talk about numerous examples where I have fumbled and, I'll say, embraced embarrassment, maybe not wanting to, but was forced to at that time until I really got into the mindset. But now I give a lot of personal examples of how I've been able to transform through, again, just showing up to the meetings, through practicing, and that, again, everyone's there to improve, regardless of how, how long you've been in Toastmasters, what your level of confidence is or ability. So just, again, being really encouraging. I really feel those personal stories are what really help provide, comfort and like really encourage the new member to get up and participate. And,
Behind you.
Hi, my name is Gary Martin. Just became a DTM after 15 years. I'm from District 47, and this is for Shane. Shane, you modeled what you talked about. You showed it. I love that. You don't have to be perfect. And it just comes through, not just with what you said, but how you said it with the 80%, your body language, and then sharing, especially the beginning, that story about your father. Well done, brother.
All right.
We've got a couple hands up front.
Hi, everyone. I'm George Rivera, District 46. I've been a Toastmaster 28 years. My why has shifted from when I was a teenager, first meeting, to today. I'd like to know from each of you, how has your why changed from when you first joined to today?
Ooh. Let me answer a question. When I came to join Toastmasters, I saw the World Championship of Public Speaking. I said, well, you know what I'll do? I'll just join Toastmasters, I'll win that, and then I'll become the next Les Brown. That's why I joined Toastmasters. That didn't happen. But one day I was at a conference and a person says, hey, would you mind being I'd been an area director, would you like to be a division director? I said, well, I'll take another year off. Then I'll come back and win the World Championship of Public Speaking. Do that. Then I was a division director for a month, and our LGM at the time, who's the person in the middle? LGAD. Okay, these are old acronyms for those that are new. The person in the middle, the PQD, had to leave, and they asked me to join the trio. So I'm like, okay. PQD, DD, immediate, okay, so this is going to be a 3-year run. That was over. Now I've been exposed to the convention, all the things that are going on. Wait a minute, you can get on the Toastmasters International Board. So here it is 15 years later. I still haven't won the World Championship of Public Speaking. There's still time, but leadership has been a thing that's worked out for me. That's how my why changed. Thank you, George. Anyone?
I'll go first.
Sure.
For me, when I first joined, I just wanted to be a better speaker and build on confidence and use that in my professional life. But now I feel such a conviction to be better for the greater good. I feel like people, at least in my generation, need to see more people like me standing up in leadership and doing big things and using their voice and telling their story. And I'm really passionate about pulling that out of others as well. Like I've invited at least 50 plus people to my Toastmasters club, so much so people thought I was getting paid for it. Like I'm that annoying friend inviting all their friends to Toastmasters. And I just love it. Like people need to step into leadership roles more often. So it went from just for me to for the world, for everyone else.
All righty. Dr. E.
Yes. When I first joined, how many of you had been to a meeting or heard about it and didn't join for 10, 20, 30, 40 years? Yeah. So that was me. I had been to corporate meetings, community meetings, and I said, oh, this is nice. And it was 10 years later I finally joined because my why at that point in time was it was time for a change. I needed to meet people. I had just moved to a new state. I wanted something that was outside of work, which is hard to do sometimes when you're working 100 hours a week. But I said, my why is just to get comfortable in my own skin. It then grew to I want to help others become more comfortable in theirs and be able to share their story and stand in their authenticity and uniqueness, especially in corporate when you can't sometimes. So my new why is allowing people to share their story, share their voice, be who they are wherever they are. That's my change in my why.
Thank you. Shane.
There's a large list of reasons, but I'll say one thing I didn't touch on is my profession. I raise funding. I form partnerships for the university I work at, and you can always continually improve. And so when I present in front of an executive board, if it's for maybe a multi-million-dollar investment, I can be tapped on the shoulder to lead that presentation, right? And so that's something you can always hone, always get better. As was mentioned, my comedy and improv. I never thought I would love comedy and improv, and now I do. Now I want to be the best improviser. I want to be the best stand-up comic. I want to do things that other comics, maybe improvisers, aren't comfortable doing. And I've been told that, again, thanks to Toastmasters, that I do those things. And others performers have come up to me and said, oh, wow, I would never be comfortable doing X, Y, Z. And so you can always continue to improve it. And I truly want to be an example. Again, I overcame paralyzing fear. I want to really help others that are in that situation I was in because I know what it was like. And I want to help to encourage them, inspire them, hopefully, to do what they want to do. And if you're in an advanced club, if you've been in Toastmasters for a long time, please continue to, there's always more you can do. There's always new things you could try. And as Russell said, outside of the Toastmasters program, please go out. There's so much you can do with Toastmasters. And,
All right, thank you, Shane. I saw a hand in the middle here. I can't see. There's a hand. There's a hand. Where's the microphone?
One here on the left.
Oh,
you're right.
Russell, he's over here.
Oh, he's over there. Okay, all right.
Mary Turner, been in a club for 40 years and celebrated our 85th anniversary in the club. And my spark plug went off when she spoke, what she said. I want to be able to record all about her excitement of reaching out, and we can put it on our websites and put it on our podcast and put it on our Facebook because it will sell our young people. May we have permission? Get your taping and put it out there.
All right, branding is the key. All right. Put your hand up high, because I know you've been waiting. Let's get him. He's been waiting for a while there.
Which one?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the panel, for this wonderful discussion. Hello, my name is Duke Davis. I'm representing District 97, all the way from Bangkok, Thailand. So, I've only been a member for less than a year. So as a new member, I wanted to ask you guys, it seems like in our club or many clubs, there's always the people who come in to check out Toastmasters, but for some reason, they don't stay or they don't stick. So I wanted to ask kind of for you guys, when was that point when you first joined, kind of that threshold of, hey, Toastmasters, this is really a good club and it's really helping me develop. What was that point that looked like when you first joined? Kind of, how did that look, and why did you, when you first started, why did you continue to come back? And it's kind of an open question for all of you.
Anybody want to take it quickly?
I'll jump in. I knew I could not continue with the level I was at. Absolutely could not. As much I knew that there was more I could do, and I wanted to see where I could go with it. And so and again, thanks to seeing that improvement over time. And again, I give credit to my mentor. He really encouraged me. I kept coming to meetings, kept showing up, kept giving speeches. And then when I did do a presentation, I really counted for work. And I saw I got positive feedback. I thought, oh yes, I have to keep doing this. And then you just continue those little successes continue to propel you on. Then you can't leave.
Absolutely. Wow, it's amazing how fast this hour has gone. Our time is just about up. Thank you for your attendance. I have to read this part. Please take a survey about next year's workshop topics by using the QR code on the screen. Now, just in case you didn't have enough of this, we're going to do it again at 2 o'clock. Thank you. Good job, y'all.